97.3 Citi FM. Relevant radio, always.
My guest today is Kojoga Adawudu, a man who is leading the charge for the NDC in court because some folks within that party have sued the party, seeking to restrain the party from going ahead with its 2014 National Delegates Congress to elect a new leadership. Now, the question is, will the NDC be able to deal with that court matter and proceed to hold its elections? We'll be speaking to Kojoga Adawudu to tell us more about what exactly the heat is within the NDC. What would you say is the situation with the NDC? It appears a lot of lawsuits are creating problems for you as a party.
Yes, thank you. I believe that everything is under control for now. It was part of the guidelines that were brought out for elections. I think that there was some misunderstanding as to the concept, why some of those guidelines, why some of the requirements were being asked. It was, I believe, it's an issue about loyalty and allegiance to the party, so that we have people who can serve, who can be in position and work for the party. Not that we have people who just come, shout, they are given the position and they will not be able to do their work. I think that was the understanding, the thinking that went into the guidelines.
But how constitutional is that? Because, the argument I've heard is that those guidelines are not constitutional. They do not find expression in what the constitution of the NDC says.
I would disagree. It's not entirely true, if you say so. No, the constitution of the NDC, let me put on record, is subservient to the constitution of Ghana, 1999 constitution. Anything that it's found should be consistent with what we need to do, because that is the supreme. Now, our Article 50 gives some residual powers to National Executive Committee. The things that have not been provided for, things that had to be done, they can come out with regulations in that. So they came out with the guidelines as to the election of party officers. Now, that same constitution also spelled in there, also talks about guidelines for parliamentary candidates and presidential candidates. So if somebody says the guidelines is unconstitutional, I don't believe so. The only issue that is being raised is that it's superfluous.
But that being the case, we are told that the matter is traveling into the courtroom. What key measures are you taking as a party to perhaps stop this matter from being heard in court and settle it out of court? Because it appears that is the only way to deal with this matter, if indeed you want to go to Congress next month.
Yeah, Sky, we've always been amenable to settlement. This is a party that the party has its own calendar to run. The party produces leadership for the state and the government. We don't have the luxury of time. That's not to say that we do not have the legal grounds to go and battle these issues in court. Because we believe that we have solid defense. We look at the processes, some that are filed, they are trivial issues. Within our own constitution, before you go to court, there is a domestic remedy. That is, when you are disqualified at the constituency, you go to Regional Executive Committee. When you are disqualified at Regional Executive Committee, you go to the National Executive Committee. It's a process of putting petition before you get to court, which most of them have not exhausted.
But we have spoken to people who suggest that indeed the party had been written to by some of these aggrieved persons, but for some reason the party leadership failed to deal with them. So they found, the leeway then to go to court and vindicate their rights.
Yeah, so that definitely, if it has gone through, it's only few that I know it has gone. If it had gone through that process and it's in court, yes, definitely, it's an issue that is a legal battle, and we feel that some of them, genuinely looking at them, yes, they've raised some issues that we need to look at. Some of them, we also have legal defense to all of them. But that's, I said, we don't have the luxury of time. That's why we are amenable to settlement.
Victor Kojoga Adawudu, thank you very much for
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure for the good work you are doing.
97.3 Citi FM. Relevant Radio, always.